and I see what's happening. It's hard to recognize the country I grew up in. Luckily, my grandparents were both from Arizona. I spent time in Arizona. I shot guns in Arizona. I shot a
That's right.
44 Magnum like that when I was 10. Also,
You were born with one of these in your hand.
yeah, and also, interestingly enough, Robert, both of my grandparents were, well, one set was my grandpa Benedict was a cattleman out of Phoenix, Arizona, and my other grandpa was a farmer who grew potatoes and barley. So they were entrepreneurs by definition. So I think it was just in the blood around me that I knew these guys had to create and had created their lives. They never waited for a paycheck for anybody because, again, they were homesteaders back in the day. I mean, one of my grandpas, the Dust Bowl of Oklahoma, he went west to Arizona. When my grandma drove me around Phoenix, Robert, you'll love this story. She drove me by a field one time and she looked out the window and she said, "You see that field?" She said, "Your grandpa dug stumps out of the ground for 2 years before he could plant a crop." And I think I had been complaining about the air conditioning a little earlier, and I just zipped my mouth for about 2 hours. And again, there's a man he worked for free for those 2 years, digging stumps out of the ground because he was creating
Yeah.
something, capital.
Yes.
And he never had to wait for a paycheck for anybody. And he created
Yeah.
it all through his own work, and he hired workers. And so it was somehow that part of my education. I'm sure that's a bit of who I am today. I got lucky in that standpoint.
Well, again, it goes back to education.
Yeah.
Like when my Sunday school teacher said, "What made the three wise men wise?" She says, "They always sought the best teacher." And today, with the power of YouTube and what we're doing today, this gives you access to some of the best teachers in the world. Like you have Jim Records on. I'm going, he's a great teacher.
Yeah.
He's my teacher.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm 11 years in this on London Real, Robert, and part of this it's me seeking teachers. I have the best seat in the house. I always joke, if the cameras were off, I wouldn't care because I get the best education I've ever had in my life. And I went to some great schools. I spent 4 years at MIT studying mechanical engineering. It was great, but I'll take 4 years in this chair over that any day of the week because I get the best in the world. And the good news is everybody else can watch, but I do get the greatest education. So it's a good point, Robert. We want to always seek a teacher. And with YouTube these days, they're out there. You can find them.
Yeah.
And they'll help you transform. You mentioned Elon. I'm curious what you saw when you watch him go into Twitter. First of all, treat it like a business. So he sacks half the people, he's cutting costs, then exposing everything with the Twitter files. Some said he didn't buy a company, he bought a crime scene. What have you made of all of that? For me, it's been very entertaining to watch him walk in there and take a flamethrower to the lackadaisical attitude and the wokeness. But what do you see, Robert?
Well, again, I go back to 1965. I go to New York. I read this book here. If you read this book said what it's been 1848, and he says that communism would take over America in two stages. So stage one happened in 1930. In 1930, Berlin, the Frankfurt School, sent teachers to Columbia University, Teachers College. That was in 1930. And if you notice what happened after that, that's when I was in New York in 65, riots started to breaking out. So the students are now rioting. There was Kent State and, this and all that. So I'm watching this. This is, oh my God. So it came in two stages. That was stage one was 1930 when the teachers went to Columbia University. Today, Columbia University is the heartbed, the heat bed. It's a horrible place. It's woke, completely woke, gender bending. It's not about education anymore. It's indoctrination.
Right.
Stage two happened when my friend Donald Trump and this is my friend here. When he got taken down as president, that was stage two. And then I knew what Marx had written in 1848 was now true in America. But you and I have been seeing it coming all these years. And so that's why I'll say this was transformation. Will you give me $5 for this? And they'll find out how bad their education is. When they don't know why they would give me $5 for this, Their education's bad. It's flawed.
Right. And so were you happy to see Elon do those things to Twitter?
Well, I think, Brian, you and I are fighters. You know, the Marine, I was a U.S. Marine, flew the gunship, killed a lot of people, lost a lot of friends. But I like fighting. I hate it when people lie down and just roll over and let people kill them. So I liked him fighting. And that was the thing I kind of learned in Vietnam that most people don't know, was that I was there for the Battle of Quang Tri when the North Vietnamese ran south. And I was watching our Vietnamese, the South Vietnamese, they turned and ran. When I saw the North Vietnamese coming down and our Vietnamese turned and ran, I remember flying back to the carrier going, and I sat down and said, maybe we're on the wrong side. The question I had was, why do the North Vietnamese fight harder than our Vietnamese? And so that's why you and I are fighters. That's why we wear our suits and ties and all this, but underneath of us, we're fighting back. And we've got to fight back, Brian. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, very much so.
Because when the economy destabilizes, because this is fake, it's going to get worse. And then when all those top secret documents are found in Biden's thing, and I'm going, and he takes the Keystone pipeline offline. I'm going, and then he pulled us out of Afghanistan. So I'm a U.S. Marine. I went to military school. When he pulled us out of Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia cut a deal with Russia for oil. And so, as you know, there's a thing called the BRICS, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. It's now BRICS, BRICSS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Saudi Arabia. They got the oil. We're screwed. So that's why when Biden took us off the Keystone XL pipeline, I know that guy, he and Kamala are this. I'd hate to say that, but I saw it happening since I was a kid. 1965, I read this book and I go, that's what we're teaching our kids. That's what my dad was teaching. So we fight back.
Yeah.
This is the biggest battle you and I will ever be in.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year is going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services.
Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone. Also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up. If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?